Hello everybody, welcome back to My Free Life with me. I'm Sax Williams, and this is going to be part 3 of the Berserker build. I'm going to start off by finishing off the rest of the skin with the hardboard, and then move on around to the back, start working on the departure angle most likely in this video. And remember, the skin I'm not really concerned with. I wanted to use that hardboard because it's very pliable and it shapes really easy, but overall, it's going to be covered in foam and PMF'd. So let's get on into that. What I'm doing right now is I'm creating the shape for the other side of this departure angle slash galley. So made my template, so now I can start building off of that to make sure I've got that angle exactly the same, make sure it's the exact same length out and all flushed up. So once I get this side shaped up and done, shaped in, I'll start doing the same thing over here. Which what we did is we made our pieces to extend it out, the camper out, and then I shaped it accordingly to the angles with the 2x2s to get that departure angle, I'm sorry, and the rear end of this camper. So I'm working on right now, and in between that will be the door. Now, of course, whenever the camper's all closed up, it'll be a solid door. The whole back end of it will be closed, and the whole thing will open up, creating the roof for your kitchen and exposing the entryway door to get into the camper, and then your kitchen stuff on either side. So I robbed Peter to pay Paul, and these are shelving units, drawers that came out of this old raggedy shelf that I have down in the basement. So I pulled the rails off of the shelf and pulled the drawers out, and what I'm doing is I'm building a frame around it with the rails installed. That I've installed these rails here. It's got glue on it right now, so I don't really want to move it. But anyway, so making the base around it with the rails on it, so I know that that's going to ride them rails just fine. And I have retrofitted those to work for this camper. So I've already installed 2 of them on the rails. So on the rails, but essentially what I'm building is this base thing right here, right there, again for the 3rd time. So that way I know that it's gonna work. Goes in there. Well, one hand, this is kind of tricky finding them. All right, that way I've got the rails, and I've got this countersunk so that whenever the back hatch is closed, these handles fit flush behind it, behind the back of this camper. This side here has that drawer, and the one I'm building right now, which will be right there. Above that will be cabinetry built, cupboards, stuff like that. So on each side, this galley will be what's working on becoming the kitchen back here. Alright, so this is what I just built. So I took the railing out of what was in the cabinetry downstairs, basement, which was just No stuff we just have tools in. Put the rails on both sides. I put the rails on, and I put them on to the rails that are already on the drawers, and I built it around the drawer on the ground to make sure it's exactly the right width and where it needed to be and all of that good stuff. And then cut this hardboard, this masonite, to glue and screw on the bottom. But so that way I know that, well, I'm trying to do this with one hand, hold the phone, but that way I know that this is gonna ride those rails like that, like it's doing perfectly fine, because it was built to that, which is the same thing I did for both of those. All right, so my next plan is to make the shape of this door. So I'm gonna cut this construction paper down to the size of what I want the door to be, and I'll fold the construction paper in half, and I'll put an arch on one side. That way I can cut it when it's in half, and it'll be the exact same angle on both sides. Then I'll transfer that shape onto the hardboard to use as a stencil to put the door in the side of the camper. All right, I'm gonna do that. I decided to transfer on the outside instead of the inside because it's going to make it a lot easier for me to cut it. Yeah, look at that. Another door. Already.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
So what I'm doing here is I'm shaping up the base and the nose of the front, where I'm going to have my deck across it, which on the outside, this is what's going to be cut open, be an access panel there that will actually become the pull-out for the refrigerator. Will be on that pulls out, and then the other side will have access on that side as well. So right now I'm just getting that in there. Then once I make all the caps around that, after I deck it and cap it, that whole internal, everything underneath it, that hole underneath there will be filled with the marine foam, not the expandable foam out the can that I use to help shape those pontoons, but the actual expandable marine grade foam, floating foam. So that's what I'm working on right now. So I just finished the top deck on that, part of that pass through that's going to have the refrigerator in it. Now I'm going to make the face that goes across there. Front door, back door. Now I'm going to cut 6 foot long by 7.5 inch wide, 1/4 inch marine grade sheets to go across each side of the inside of this. It's going to cap that off, and then I'll be drilling holes in the middle of each one of those to be pouring that foam into, because all that will be filled with foam, as well as the pontoons on both sides, as well as the whole front of this nose, as well as on each side of that transom after I build the transom inside there. So yep, that's what we're working on though. I did next is PMF'd all the seams in the subfloor and then sealed it. And now I am mocking up the bench that's going to run down each side. That is going to be the same width as the opening of this back door, so I can start getting an idea of how big the underside is going to need to be for them to fold up on each side to meet in the middle to create the bed frame, or the base for the bed. So I'm just kind of mocking stuff up right now, but that's where we're at on this. And then of course, now before I can actually build this stuff and install it, I've got to go through and I've got to drill holes out all the way down the sides for each of those pontoons. You know, little 2-inch hole, 2.5-inch hole in the 4-inch PVC, and like an inch hole in the 2-inch PVC, so that I can pour the marine foam down inside those pontoons and fill those. Same thing with the sides here. I've got to drill holes out all the way down between each one of those sections so I can fill those with marine foam. Same thing with the nose. I got to drill out 3 holes up top to pour and fill that with marine foam. And the same thing with the deck, the bottom of the subfloor. I've got to drill out holes between each one of those sections all the way down, pour and fill with marine foam before I can do a whole lot more of building up on the inside of this, because I have to have access to that area to be able to get that poured. So until I can get that poured, I really can't do anything else except for mock-ups like what I'm doing right now.
Well, hello fellow tiny camper enthusiasts. What I'm working on right now is I took the door that I framed up and made on this camper, took it off, and I'm getting ready to, now that I've got it the right size and everything, I'm going to PMF that and then cut out the window, PMF all of that, and I'll get to inserting the windows, building the windows before I insert them, because I want them all to open, but don't know how to do that yet. I ain't there yet, but we'll get there eventually. But right now, let's PMF this door. Let's get it going. Tight bond 2. Bottom of another tight bond 2 container. A little bit of that there wood glue in there like that there. Handy dandy brush. Probably want my squeegee spreader too. Just a minute. Bam! Spreader. Alright. So I've already got this laid out the way I want it, and I'm just going to roll some back so I can get one part of it started, so I can glue that down, then I can roll the other side back, start moving on from there. Let's do this. Alright, now that I've got the bottom portion completely saturated with glue, I'm going to go ahead and squeegee on, spread on that bottom part. I'm going to give it 10-15 minutes. It needs to cure for about 24 hours, but I'll give it 10-15 minutes. It'll hold it taut enough where I can go ahead and roll back and then spread the glue on the rest of it. Things learned since starting this build.
Anywhere you go, give it on. Anywhere you say, anywhere.
Alright, so now that we've got that started, I'm gonna let that dry up a little bit, and then we'll spread it around the rest of it and go from there. Obviously, canvas, tab on 2, spreader, spatula, something to pour it in, door, spread it. Yeah, that's what we doing. We on that. Alright, be back with y'all in a minute. Well, let's continue on, shall we? Now before I get too far on it, I want to start spreading it with the squeegee to make sure I can press that glue all the way in between that canvas real good. So I'm going to do that real quick before I move on. Alright, let's skip the BS. Let's go straight to the pouring. Make it a little bit quicker here. I like to control my materials better and not waste none, but I think I got a pretty good handle on what this is going to take. So let's just pour it directly on there, shall we? Now we don't want the glue going all down the sides because we're not ready to do the sides yet. And clearly, once the glue gets on there and hardens, well, it already becomes hardened PMF. And that makes it very difficult, if not impossible, to work with when we still need to wrap the sides. So we're going to try to keep as little glue as possible overlapping and getting into those sides there, or any of the space here where it needs to be cut and formed, shaped, stretched, however you want to say it. That's that. Alright, we'll let that door do what it does, dry up for 24 hours, and then we'll start working that door some more. But for right now, that's where she's at. And that's where we're going to end this episode of this video. Alright, everybody, this is where we're going to end part 3 of the Berserker build. Again, thank you so much for joining me on this quest. I really, really appreciate it. And I want you to keep in mind and remember that this is not what I do. I am not the authority on building campers or boats as far as that goes. What I am is the type of individual that just gets crazy ideas in my head and I just go for them. 100% go for them. Regardless if I know the technical anything of anything, I figure it out, I create it, and I do it. I'm a doer. With that being said, all constructive criticism is highly appreciated on my videos. Let me know what you think. Let me know certain things you think I should do differently. But with that being said, arrogance is not one of them. So if you're the arrogant type of individual that just wants to show how you're right and everybody else is wrong, pardon me, but you're more than welcome to keep that to yourself. I'm a dreamer and I'm a doer. I combine the two and I see what happens at the end of it. But at the end of the day, thank you all so much. I appreciate you for tuning in for another episode of My Free Life with me, Sax Williams, and I hope to see you all again soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and at the end of every one of my videos, I will link the other videos for the other parts of the builds, as well as other builds that I do, which is mostly free energy type of things. I like to build things like gasifiers and generators and things like that, but all of it is going to some way or another pertain to energy, free energy, or off-grid. So anyway, thank you all. I'm Sax, signing out.